That's it.
All right, let's.
Are we live?
This is when we were touching it. Now we can see things. Hello, everyone.
Hi. Oh gosh, I think I turned my microphone on. Oh, sorry everyone. What you're seeing. That was trying to get it off of our little handle there. Welcome to everybody who's joining us already. My mic doesn't want to turn on, guys. There it goes. Okay, I hope you can hear us. See. I hope you can hear us. All right. Welcome to my channel. All right, so we are live for the first time. Sorry for the technical difficulties in the beginning. We got on a little bit late. This is our first time doing it, so we're really excited. I hope you guys enjoy what we're doing. I'll do my best to engage in the live chat. I have my computer over here set up so that I can watch to see who's signing on and who's chatting. If you're in the chat, just let me know what your name and where you're joining us from, and I can't wait to start this feast with you guys. So we're gonna get started. The first thing that we're going to do is do the ham. Hey Mel, thanks for joining. I'm so glad that you could join us today. So we're gonna do the ham, and we're gonna get this started first because it's gonna take the longest. So I just bought a 5-pound ham at the store. It's one of those fully cooked, ready to go spiral hams. So that's just the first thing that we're gonna do, and I'm gonna add it in with a little bit of water just to keep it moist in the bottom. So you wanna make sure that you have a pan that has a lid, and that way you can cover it and it's gonna keep that steam, and that's what's gonna help cook the ham. So we're gonna get that going first, and then my oven's been preheated already to 350 degrees, and that's gonna cook for 15 minutes per pound. So it's almost 5 pounds, so it's gonna be about 75 minutes. And by then we should be done pretty much with all the fixings. All right, so I'm gonna put it in the oven now, and I'm actually going to move my rack now that I think about it, because this is kind of high. You want to make sure you have plenty of room for your lid. You know, like when I put things in flat, it usually doesn't matter. But there we go. Okay, so that's the first step. So we want to get the ham in right away, because that's going to take the longest. 75 minutes, give or take, again, because it's 15 minutes per pound, okay? The next thing we're gonna do is a little bit of prep for like putting it all together and later on. I have an ice bath here, and I'm just gonna add some water to make it an actual bath, because we're actually going to be blanching our green beans so that we can saute them later and they won't lose their color. That's why we blanch things. So blanching is basically just throwing something in hot boiling water for a few minutes so that it keeps its color, it keeps its brightness, and then we put it in quick, very cold, ice cold water so that it doesn't lose its color. So I'm just gonna, struggle guys, I'm just gonna open this bag somehow. There we go. And I know it says pre-wash, but you know, I like to rinse them just in case. And it also gives me a visual assessment of the produce, you know, to make sure there's nothing like moldy or anything in there. I mean, listen, I trust my grocery store. I shop there all the time, but you never know, you know, things go bad and people don't realize it. So I'm just gonna give it a nice little rinse here. I got 2 pounds of green beans. As I said, this is going to be a feast for about 8 people. So 2 pounds of green beans, because, you know, all the kids aren't going to eat the green beans. Let's be honest. They're going to eat the other stuff like mac and cheese and potatoes. And then everybody's just going to go right into the boiling water. Now this is going to go for about 2 to 3 minutes so that it keeps the color on the green beans, and then we're going to blanch them right here. Now I did want to show you guys because I said this feast was going to be under $100. Take a look at that. Here, this one right here. See that total? Under 100. Can you believe it? 99. I'll be honest, I was sweating just a little bit because initially my total was 102 and I go, oh no, I said a less than 100. But I did my ShopRite card, which is like my store card that gives me all my discounts because I got things on sale. I got things on the clearance aisle. Guys, this is how you need to shop, and this is how you can make a really good meal for low cost. So we're just gonna let these go. So I was really excited when I saw that price drop down to $99. I was like, yes. I was like, I knew I could do it, which means you can do it too. So very cool to see.
We're getting a ton of comments if you want to answer some.
I am.
Tons of comments.
You guys get to hear my husband today. All right, let's see. All right, do not catch many lives but wanted to see. Oh, thank you so much, Mel. I love that. Hi, Angela from Kentucky. Thanks for joining. Hey, Vanessa, Central New York. Yes, we're neighbors. I'm in New Jersey. About to watch you on my big TV. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Hey, Nicole from Jersey. Thanks so much, my sister. I love her so much. Of course, she's going to join because, you know, I paid her, guys. No, I'm just kidding. She did.
I was going to say, you pretend she's not there?
No.
She's not your sister?
She's not my sister. No, definitely awesome. So thanks, Vanessa. Awesome, guys. I'm so glad you could join us. All right. So I'm going to grab these green beans, actually, because it's been about 2 minutes. And I want to see how bright in color they are. And you don't want to lose that because when you cook green vegetables especially, they tend to get very dark, you know, after cooking, right? So this is a way to really maintain. Now you could do this with broccoli, you could do this with spinach, you know, just again, any real green so that it maintains that brightness that you want to see whenever you're, you know, trying to create kind of like a nice elegant dish. Because if you ever think about like canned green beans and even frozen green beans, they tend to be darker, right, than like your natural green beans. And some people think that that has to do with their nutritional value. Not true. Nutritional value does not decrease that much with canning or freezing process. But what does change is the color, right, when we do that. So, all right, so we're just going to leave these guys in here in this ice bath. And then what we're going to do, we're going to reuse this water because why waste if we don't have to? And yes, has a little bit of green bean juice in there, but that's okay because we're going to flavor it anyway. I'm going to put some chicken bouillon cubes that I made myself from some chicken stock. You can check out that short if you ever want to. I'm just going to put in 2 cubes, and that's going to help kind of flavor this water. Almost like now it's going to be like a chicken broth. And that's how I'm going to cook my pasta. And the pasta is going to be for the macaroni and cheese. So again, this is all about kind of prepping ourselves, getting ourselves together and set up so that way we can just put everything together a little bit later. So I got the medium shells. Again, these were on sale, $1.29 for this big old box, guys. So it's a pound of pasta. Medium shells, you can do elbows, pretty much anything spirally or curly that's gonna like really grab onto the cheesiness that you're gonna have in your mac and cheese. All right, so we're just gonna give that a nice stir, and that chicken bouillon will not only flavor the pasta, but it's also gonna add some little bit of saltiness, right? Because we like to salt the water and break that down. So that needs to go for about 8 minutes. So we're actually going to set my timer here for 8 minutes. All right, and now we're going to start some other prep. So let me just throw my little ham wrapper out here. Okay. See, this is why I put my little cutting board on top of my wood board, because remember when we put like meat products or something that has a lot of juice on a wooden cutting board, even though you use it and you keep it nice and cured, you want to make sure that those juices don't penetrate the board. So that's the goal there. All right, so the next thing we're going to do before we start our veggie prep is we're going to make our chocolate pie pudding. So we are going to set this up because it needs to set, right? While we're cooking everything else, it's going to chill in the fridge and it's gonna get nice and delicious and everything. So we got some instant chocolate pudding.
Diane says she ate already, so she wouldn't be hungry while you're doing this.
That's awesome, Diane. Thanks for joining. Glad to see you. All right. I know that's a good idea. You know, my husband and I, when we watch TV at night, we watch a lot of cooking shows, honestly. And he's always like, "It's 11 p.m., babe. Why are we watching this? I'm starving now." You know, so it always happens to us, so we get it. All right. So we're going to take some graham. Now I'm going to make a graham cracker crust. Now you want to make about 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs, which should be like one nice package of these graham crackers. So honestly, I'm just going in with my hands. Luckily, they break up so nice and easily. You could do this in like a plastic bag or, you know, any kind of bag, and, you know, really just get in there and break it up into crumbs. Or you can actually buy them already crumbed. Like, you could buy graham cracker crumbs. It's just sometimes I can't find them, like, honestly. Like, I don't know. Like, they're there one day and then the next they're not. I guess people use them a lot. But this is like also, obviously you could also buy a pre-made graham crust, which is totally fine, no judgment here. I just like, you know, to show everything that you can make from scratch. And sometimes buying this at $1 a box, right, is going to be cheaper than a pre-made crust made already for you from like a brand name, company that is going to be like $3 or $4, right? So it's like a more, usually when you have to put more elbow grease into it, it's cheaper, right? Because it's like you basically pay for the labor of others to do that. So awesome. So this is going to be perfect. Just that one sleeve of graham is all I need. So you see how it's nice and crummy? You want to get in here, babe, and look at that? So that's what you want to see for now. And then we are going to take 6 tablespoons. Oh, there. I was like, where did my butter go? 6 tablespoons of butter. You know how I love butter sticks because you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And we're going to use this guy for the other stove, so we're not going to put him to waste either. And you're going to melt this butter down. So I'm actually going to chop it a little bit so that it melts easier. But you're just going to melt him in the microwave. So about, you know, I don't know, a minute, 30 seconds or so.
Are you a self-taught cook? I love all the knowledge and techniques you have, says Angela.
Oh, thanks, Angela. So yes, I am a self-taught cook. Like I said, I watch a lot, I did it for a minute, just so I know. I do watch a lot of cooking shows. I've always have, ever since I was younger. But I also grew up in households where we had a lot of cooks in our family. So it was mom, and then it was grandma and nana and my aunts, and even my dad would get in the kitchen every now and then and, you know, make stuff. And so it was really, I don't know, we just always had that connection. And for me, like, especially when it comes to like Christmas or holidays or any real gathering, you know, food just around the table. And to me, I just kind of, that always brought happiness and joy. And I just wanted to always participate in that, you know, with, I don't know, just be a part of that, be the reason why people gathered around the table, you know. So I try to learn. And then as I got older, you know, I learned a lot more newer techniques when it came to like vegan foods, because I was vegan for a really long time. So that really expanded my palate really well, so that I could, you know, be careful, this is hot. So that I could really learn like a lot of like cuisines that have a lot of vegan staples, like Indian foods, like curries and South Asians, and just really just deliciousness, you know. So anyways, that's how I learned how to cook all that. So nice and melty butter, and you're just gonna pour it right in to this crust, just like that, into the crumb. And just give it a nice good mix so that everything gets kind of buttery. It's okay if you have like a little bit of bigger pieces or not. You know, one of my best advice pieces, I guess I could give for people learning how to cook, or especially home cooks that are self-taught, like, make things your own. Don't be afraid to try it, you know, like, if you see a recipe online, that's like your base. And then, you know, you take that and you just work, you know, you just add to it basically. You don't have to like stick to a T. You know, some people like things a little more salty. Some people like things with more garlic. You know, some people like, you know, more typical things. So just, you know, make it your own. I mean, that's how you learn what works for you, you know. So, all right. So you see this crumb, guys? So I'm just going to be pushing
Mel
it.
49er says, cooking can be fun, and even though I have a good for a living, love watching show. Oh, I'm sorry, it was too much.
Let me say, hold on. Cooking can be fun, even though have good for love watching shows and learning shortcuts. Never too old to learn. Absolutely, Mel. Absolutely, never too old to learn. And that's the thing, you know. I mean, I've recently been thinking about possibly making like a career flex. You know, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a nurse practitioner by trade. But I've also just recently started a business to try to actually make cooking my livelihood, you know, to actually make it, you know, to where I could do this for a living because I love it so much. I mean, that would be the dream, you know. But we'll see where that goes. So, you know, say a prayer for me. I'm, you know, ready for it. All the positive affirmations. I'm here. All right. So you see that? So look at that. Nice, beautiful, all the way up the sides. I mean, that's better than store-bought, honestly. Like, you know, who's you know, Keebler's aren't making that good. Just kidding. No offense to Keebler or anything like that. All right, so then we're gonna make our pudding bottom. Now we're gonna start with our instant pudding. I don't know. Can I show brand? I mean, I don't know. This is what was in the store. Like,
Vanessa says,
it a
how
thing?
long have you had your channel? I learned about you from Stephanie Denman.
Yeah, so Stephanie's my cousin. She has her own channel. She's actually somebody who inspired me to do the channel in the first place. I have had my channel now for about 5 months. I think we started back in July of this year, which is now 2024. So it's been, oh, that's the macaroni is finished. I was like, the ham's not done yet. See, guys, multitasking. So yeah, so I've been having the channel for about 5 months or so, and I love it so far. I love, you know, getting to answer you guys' comments in the feeds, and I love, you know, even though I might not have hit like, you know, all the goals, right, that like content creators make. I mean, it's just fun, you know, to do. Just checking. Good. You don't want it to be all the way cooked, like mushy, because when you're gonna bake this, right, with the mac and cheese, you're gonna like cook it a little bit more, so it'll finish in the oven with everything else. So perfect. So I'm just gonna drain this now. Is when this is time to be drained.
Vanessa, thanks you for answering her question.
Of course, of course.
And Mel 40. Oh, it's steam here.
You gotta wipe the camera off.
Mel 49ers mentioned something too. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
And then Angela just said something.
You guys never get to hear my husband in the background. Go for it, girl. Cook for a living, loved every minute. Yes, Mel, thank you. Of course, Vanessa. And Angela asked, do you think you will have a cookbook in your future? So, spoiler, I guess. No, I think I've mentioned it before, actually. I do plan on having a cookbook. I've been working on one actually for a little while. Unfortunately, you know, life, right? I mean, it just takes time to get some of the stuff to pen to paper, but my cookbook is actually very, I guess you would say, on brand for my channel, because it is designed to take pantry staples that you would find in any, you know, pantry that would be low cost, not only for people who don't have a lot of money in general, but, you know, who doesn't want to save a buck, but also for those who may get some of their food assistance from food pantries or from food kitchens, so that they can use them and put them together in a way that makes the meals nutritionally dense, but still very tasty. So that's my goal. So it's almost done. I have all my recipes created. I'm still testing a few of them out, but I'm also, you know, adding in the book some nutritional information, some benefits and stuff that, you know, so it just takes a little bit of time. But yes, one day hopefully in the near future, it'll be out. So I'm just pouring cold milk in here, guys, per the package directions. I'm not doing anything fancy. This is instant Jell-O, right? What I am going to do a little bit different is in a minute, you'll see. So this needs to whip up. It says for 2 minutes. So, I don't have like a double beater. I just have like the regular one. I didn't want to bring out my KitchenAid stand mixer, you know, for all of that.
They might not be able to hear you because I normally do sound isolation.
Oh, can you still hear me? Sorry if you can't. All right.
Angela says that is great. I look forward to your cookbook.
Oh, great. Thanks, Angela. I'll definitely let you guys know when I'm close to getting it. I probably will just self-publish it. You know, maybe when I'll also like try to get publishers to pick it up, but you know, I think it's the easiest way just to get it out there.
Nicole says, yes, we can.
Oh, good. All right. So this is just what it tells me to do on the box. 2 minutes, instant pudding. I'm sure people make it at home all the time. You know, I'm making a mess. I'm throwing chocolate everywhere, as you can see. Maybe I need a bigger bowl. I don't know. I'm trying to make it cute. It's all good. Everything gets wiped down, right? Making a mess is part of the fun, I think. And then this is going to take it, actually, because instant pudding actually only takes a few minutes to set, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. But I'm going to also add a little bit of cream in here at the end. You'll see what I do. To make it kind of like a double layer. So it really like fancies it up for people. And they really get surprised by what they see. So, alright. So I think that's been about 2 minutes or so. I don't know if anyone was watching the time for me. And I'm going to pour about half to 3/4 in the bottom, okay? And this is just going to go really nice like that on top, okay? Now I'm just going to take this other bowl because why dirty another dish, am I right?
Jason says, hi from Utah. What up, sis?
Hey, Jane. Thanks for joining. I didn't know you were going to be on tonight. That's awesome. So Jason is my brother-in-love through my sister's husband. So thanks for joining. Welcome.
Diane says, great cookbook idea. Sometimes thinking of what to make is the hardest part. Giving people ideas might help them. More adventures with food is disappearing.
That's it. Adventures with Food was the end.
Paul told me about it, so I wanted to stop by.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So yeah, that's exactly true. I mean, that, you know, people need inspiration, right? And that's one of the ways, or one of the reasons I should say, that I started that cookbook idea is because I used to volunteer at a food pantry, and they had fresh produce and like boxed wares, right, as well, canned goods and such. So I just put 1 cup of heavy cream in here, guys, and I'm putting in about a tablespoon of sugar. And they also had like boxed wares. And what I noticed is that people would almost always go for the boxed wares instead of the fresh produce. And they would have beautiful items like butternut squash and onions and kale and collards and just really amazing fresh items that is very hard to come by in a food pantry because, you know, a lot of times it's all shelf-stable items that are donated. But they, you know, this particular food pantry I was in had a partnership with one of the local, the city, like, harvest places. And so they would give them their excess, essentially. But people would bypass these beautiful vegetables. And so I would be trying to, like, help them, like, oh, hey, like, do you want to take this?
Your mom says, sending love from Colorado. Mom is so proud of you.
Thanks for joining. So, you know, so they would bypass the vegetables that were so beautiful and just this nutritionally dense, you know, food item. And when I asked them why, or I started asking a couple of people, like, oh, don't you want this or whatever? And they would go, oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know what to do with that. So I started teaching people in the food pantry that moment on how to put food together, you know, which is really great.
Mel actually said it has a similar story to cauliflower.
Like Angie had a woman tell me she would not get it because she didn't know how to fix. Absolutely. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I did. So, I mean, it was really just an eye-opener for me, you know, because people come from different cultures and different backgrounds, and you never know what people know how to do, right? All right. So I just made some whipped cream. Okay? I put 1 cup of heavy cream and a tablespoon of sugar. Okay? So you want to do that. And I'm going to fold this into the rest of this chocolate pudding. Okay? And this is going to make the top part of this pie super extra decadent and creamy. So we're just going to fold this in.
Jason was late. He asked how long you've been doing it.
Oh, for the channel? I've been doing the channel for about 5 months now, Jay. So it just kind of started in the grand scheme of YouTube creators, but I love it so far. It's really a lot of fun, and this is my first live. I've never gone live before. So thanks for joining. I thought I saw another comment. No, that was just it.
I'm pretty sure I gave you everything.
Okay, thanks, babe. Keeping me on my toes. So we actually have, so my sister who's joining us now, she's actually going to be joining us for dinner because I'm making all this delicious food. It has to go somewhere. It's not going to, I can't make a meal for 8 and just feed me and my husband and my daughter who's 2 or almost 3. I mean, she could pack it away though, I'm not going to lie, but... But so my sister and her family are coming over for dinner, and my mother-in-law's here, so she has my daughter right now actually so that we could get started, and then they're going to join us, so they might join us at the very end. You might see them if they come. So look at that. Sure. Now look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is your top layer. All right. So this is your pie, and we're going to put this in the fridge while we get everything else together so that it sets up properly. Let's open this up first. And then, okay. And then you'll see at the end when I take it out, and we're going to do some chocolate shavings on top too. That's really going to be awesome. All right, so Mel says, yum, pie looks awesome. Thanks, Mom, perfection. Vanessa said, do you prefer baking or cooking, or do you equally enjoy both? You're doing great for first live. Thank you so much. So I like cooking more than baking, honestly. I think because I can be more adventurous and like more, I don't know, I have more flexibility, right? Because baking is like a science. Right?
What about bread?
Oh, I love bread. Don't go, bread. I could literally bake bread every day, all day for the rest of my life and be totally happy. It's just so relaxing to like knead and watch it rise. It's like so, I don't know, like you feel so accomplished when you get that rise of like the yeast, you know? It's really great. But no, I still think even with that, I like cooking more than baking. Mostly, again, because of the flexibility. Because usually, even with bread, you won't get that rise if you mess up your counts. If you put, too much flour or too much, water or whatever the case may be. I mean, some things might be a little flexible, but for the most part, baking is very, like, strict. Because it's all about chemistry, right? Whereas cooking is a lot more about, like, flavor profile. So, all right. So, I have about 3 pounds of potatoes here. I did get a 5-pound bag because it was on sale. It was $2.50 for 5 pounds when the 3-pound bag for another brand was like more. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna use these for dinner this week. And I'll use the 3 pounds that I said we were gonna need for this feast here. And my mother-in-law generously offered to peel potatoes for me. She's like, I'll get them ready for you. And I said, no, actually, it's gonna be part of it because I know most of the time I try to get things prepped for like my videos so you guys don't necessarily have to see this part because most people know how to take a peeler to a potato, right? But I wanted to show you all that it can take, like you can do everything, right? And it still isn't going to take you as long as you think. And you can, you know, use fresh ingredients with that. So
Diane agrees that it's
exact sort of thing. No, absolutely. Nicole said, yummy. Yeah, you ready for that pie later, sis? That's our dessert. I also have an inordinate amount of cookies right now, guys. Anybody else like have cookies just coming out their ears because of the holidays? Like everybody is making cookies, including us. You know, we had this cookie swap at one of my girlfriend's house, and so we took home a bunch of cookies, and then, you know, I have patients that like to bring us cookies. We have friends that drop off cookies. It's like cookie galore around here. So, and you would think having a toddler, those things wouldn't last very long, but she's not really like a huge cookie person, which I don't know if I can call that like a parenting win, but I don't know. I feel like, you know, if you don't want the sweets, I'm here for it. You want to have an apple? Cool. Let's do that, you know? But we let her have it, you know, if she wants it or so. Obviously, she tries to get it like at the most inopportune times. First, she wants it like first thing in the morning when she wakes up, or actually right before bed. That's her like latest stall tactic for bedtime, is she's hungry, or she's like, I have to finish eating. And I'm like, no, you're done. You already finished eating. You're fine.
You have a couple 3 comments now, I think.
Oh, let's see. I love baking. I've done it for a year. It can be done without being so hard. Agreed. That's one of the things about baking too I like, is that it's because it's a very simple, like a solid recipe you have to follow. It really just takes like the guesswork out of it, right? And then, oh, my auntie joined. Hi, senior. So my Aunt Maria, who is my namesake, she's in Houston. She's Stephanie's mom, for those of you who know the Denman homestead. So she called me Junior. I call her Senior, not because she's old, guys. She's very young. But I've called her that forever. Thanks for joining, Auntie. And Vanessa said, hey, Val. Oh, hey, Val. Nice to see you, too. I guess you guys know each other from Stephanie's channel also, joining in. So I appreciate you guys coming in on mine. I hope I'm not at the same time, because I know they sometimes go live, too, on Saturdays, don't they? Ooh, I hope I'm not interrupting. I guess I should have asked. I hope she's also not live, and I'm not, like, taking viewers from her or anything. But anyway, so yeah, so I think it's, you know, to me, I feel like it's a...
Vanessa says they do Sundays.
Oh, Sundays. Oh, good.
And a couple more comments.
I was like, I thought it was Saturday for some reason. Yeah. I try to join in on her lives, too, every now and then. Stephanie is an amazing woman. Ah, she is. She is. She does more in one day, I swear, than I'm always so impressed by her. She's, you know, running for, you know, getting votes for the council. She's, you know, pushing policy. She's running her homestead. She's helping her family. God bless her. She's, you know, doing the disaster relief. It's an incredible thing that they've been able to do down there for the hurricane victims, and in, you know, other states, not just the Houstonians, but, you know, the other hurricanes, because they know what it's like to go through floods and the weather and stuff. Oof. I love her. I love her. She's like my little sister. Val, love Maria's recipes, makes her cuisine so... Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I really try to make it as easy as possible. Like, I love trying to get... I'm saying hi to Steph's mom. I love trying to get, you know, things that seem unattainable to the home cook. Like, I really just love trying to get that doesn't have to be that hard, you know? It really doesn't.
Diane says she's quite the builder, too.
You are?
Diane says that Stephanie.
Oh, Stephanie's the builder. Oh, yeah, definitely. She absolutely, they're always building something. You know, it's funny because we live in a very, like, we're I guess you would call it suburban as well, like where we live, but we don't have a lot of land. Where, you know, our house is on maybe, what is it, half an acre, three-quarters, a third. So it's not that much, but I do have
for the area too.
Yeah, I do have my little garden that I keep, and my husband and I have been thinking about getting chickens, and because she makes it look so easy, and I know it's not, But like I know I could also go to her for like help and stuff if I needed to. But I'm just gonna wash these off because because of the peels and everything, they get a little bit washed. So we've been thinking about getting chickens, and we actually found out that we are allowed in our township to have 6 chickens each person. So we figure we can count Amelia, my toddler. That means we can have up to 18 chickens. Obviously, I don't think we would start there. We'd probably start with like 3 just to make sure we could, get it together. But I was like, oh, I definitely have to take her advice on how to build a coop and, all of that. So, all right. So I just peeled those potatoes, and now I'm going to chop them up. And I'm not going to chop them up,
Mel says they will bring you eggs.
Yes, I know. Well, that's the thing, gosh, we could all use a little help with the cost of eggs these days. But we also try to be as, like in our house, I'm sure if you've been watching the channel for a little while, we try to be as sustainable as we can. Not just like self-sustainable, but economically good for the environment. And, when not only that, but also humane. A large part of why I was vegan was just because of the mistreatment of animals. And that's just one thing I also love about watching Stephanie's channel and other channels like hers, who really just treat their animals with such love and respect. Like, even if they do wind up going to be in their kitchen, right? Let's be honest, that's what homesteading is all about, right? So I just love that because they're really so honest and pure about it. And that those chickens had a good life, before. And I just think that that's so important. And, so that's something that we've been thinking about exactly for those reasons.
Val has a comment about roosters, which we were just talking about.
4 hens, absolutely no roosters. Oh, I know. We just exactly talked about that like last night, wasn't it, or the night before?
It was recent.
Because I was like, do we need, to be able to make more chickens, right? To get baby chicks. I'm like, we're gonna have to have a rooster. And he's like, I don't think we can. So then I looked it up, and sure enough, we're also not allowed. But I was thinking that maybe. I don't know if you know, Val, but if you have chickens, but I was wondering if we could partner with like a local farm and like basically just like, I don't know, pay them to have our chickens over for, a romantic evening one night. So I don't know. That'll be something we'll have to figure out if we wind up doing the chicken route. But all right, so I'm going to, these cut potatoes are going to go into a pot of boiling water, and we're going to mash them. So we're going to get them to where they are nice and super soft, okay? So I'm just going to pop these in the hot water. And cooking a large meal like this is really all about, I guess, I don't want to say time management, but it's really about your processing, right? Because you're multitasking, essentially, right? The ham's in the oven, your green beans are prepped already, your macaroni is already prepped for the mac and cheese, and then, everything else just kind of gets put together at the end. And I think that's, this guy tried to escape.
Everyone in the pool.
Everyone in the pool, exactly. He tried to jump ship. Get out of here. But yeah, I think that, one of the biggest things when it comes to cooking a large meal is the concern that it just takes so much time. But really, it's just about balance, right? Figuring out what you need to do and when, for that. So easy to do, easy enough. All right, so I know in my prep, I had mentioned getting 4 10-ounce things, but they had a 40-ounce box. I've never seen a big enough box like this. And mushrooms in my store before, I was like, of course, this is exactly what I needed, 40 ounces. So 40 ounces of button mushrooms. I'm just gonna also wash these because they're not washed yet. And then we're gonna cut them up to get ready to saute. So.
Her mom says she has trouble putting everything on the plate.
Trouble putting everything on the plate? How so?
I assume all the food.
Oh, like because it's so much food? Or because you have a hard time finishing what you're making? Because that, again, I think it's just a matter of like you know, timing it out and seeing what needs to happen and when. It's an easy thing to do, to let time get away from you. You know, one of my aunts up here in New York, she has Thanksgiving every year. And I'm just taking the stems off. You don't have to take the stems off if you don't want to. I like to, just because they're a little bit more woody, especially when I'm making sauteed mushrooms. If I was doing like a stuffing or something, I might leave them in. But these are going to go into my freezer bag that I use for my scrappy vegetable broth. So I'm going to keep them over here and then put them in there later.
Budgeting my time that everything is running at the same time, your mom says.
Ah, yes, yes. Well, that's the hardest thing. Honestly, it's the hardest thing for a lot of people. Like I was saying, my aunt here in New York, she hosts Thanksgiving every year, and she has it down to a science. Like, she has everything written down from the years that she's been doing it to when the turkey goes in, when the mushrooms go in, when the green beans go in. Like, everything is, like, set. And that's what, you know, when you host a lot or when you host a big meal, that's kind of what you need to do, you know. But that's one of the daunting things that that's what keeps people from doing it, because they're afraid, they don't even know where to start, you know. Which is why I wanted to do this meal this year, because I felt like, you know, my biggest thing is encouraging home cooks, especially, that, you know, you don't need a lot of fancy equipment, you don't need to spend a lot of money, that's for sure, and, you know, you don't have to know everything there is to know about cooking to have a really delicious meal that's really going to impress everyone around the table and fill their bellies with delicious food. Alright, so we're going to go back and slice these up. Now, normally, I'll be, you know, frank, for our family, up here at least in New York, we do a lot of, I should say we host, there we go. I need a bowl for these mushrooms, guys.
Couple comments too when you have a chance.
Oh, we actually do, for Christmas Eve, let's see, planning, building, my first scrappy broth. Oh, thanks, you tried it. I'm so glad. Some good looking mushrooms oh, I know, right? These are like monsters. So I was like, these are awesome. They would be good stuff, Mel, absolutely. But we are just going to saute them today. I'm actually going to cut them in half probably because they're so big. I usually get the little baby buttons, but we'll make them manageable pieces. So normally for my family, our big Christmas meal is usually Christmas Eve. And up here in New York is where my Italian family lives, and we do the very classic Italian Feast of Seven Fishes. So that's done usually on Christmas Eve. Now, Christmas Day, we may have this kind of like traditional ham and potatoes and, you know, mushrooms and stuff, but Christmas Eve is always the Feast of Seven Fishes. And basically that just means exactly that, where we make enough fish, you know, for the evening that winds up counting at least 7. And, you know, between when we have fish salad, we get fried fishes. We usually make some kind of like fish sauce, like lobster sauce or galamad sauce that goes over pasta. It's a multiple course meal, and everybody chips in. Everybody chips in. So, see, Maria makes it easy and fun to cook a wholesome meal. Thanks so much, Val. Yeah, it's really, that's one of the things too, right? Because people are always concerned that fresh is more expensive as well. And one of my big, you know, things is that, again, especially when you get things on sale. I mean, you saw that big old thing. Look at these mushrooms. That big old thing of mushrooms, 40 ounces, it was on sale for $5.99. I mean, I like obviously I planned this meal out, right? So I was like, you know, looking to see what was going to fit in a budget. But I like to do a lot of times during the week sometimes, or when I'm planning for the week, I don't necessarily have like a goal like of what we're to have to eat that week, but I let the sales dictate sometimes. I see what's on sale and I'm like, oh, that looks great. Like we should do this and this and this with that, you know? Now obviously if you cook a lot, or if you're more familiar with the ingredients, that comes easier to you, right? And that's another reason with, you know, making something like a cookbook or having like a cooking channel like this, you know, we can, you know, I want to teach people to be able to have the confidence to walk into a store, smell the basil, and be like, oh, let me make bruschetta tonight. Or let me, you know, make a tomato sauce with pasta or a pizza or something, you know, at home. Because this basil is so delicious and it's on sale for $2.99 or whatever it is, you know?
I'll mention the farmer's market.
Oh, farmers markets, forget it. I love farmers markets. We have a great one in my township here in New Jersey. Actually, most of the townships that surround us, they have farmers markets that come in. So I love, love, love going there because now you know you're getting fresh produce from your local farmers, right? And that usually cuts the cost down tremendously because you're cutting out the middleman, the grocery store. You're cutting out the extra fees that we as consumers are paying, right? Or sometimes the farmers pay. It really depends on the contract, I think, with the supermarket, the store, you know, whatever, you know, whoever's buying it. But I think, you know, we wind up paying extra regardless when we get it from the store. All right. So this is going to be our last bit of prep, and then we're going to start putting things together over there on the stove, guys. So I'm just cutting up some shallots here. But yeah, I love farmers markets for that reason. Farm to table, absolutely. That's like the best way you can be. And that's why I also encourage people to grow, right? Some things, I know Stephanie's a big, you know, advocate also to grow yourself. Now, you could do that with not a lot of space, and you don't need to have a giant garden, you know, like Stephanie has, or even a moderate sized garden like I have, you know. I mean, you can make delicious produce in your home really quite easily. So I'm just going to chop up these shallots into rings because these are small shallots actually, so they don't need a big, you know, like a nice they don't need a lot of chopping because they're pretty small already. And we're going to toss these in with our green beans, which are big, so you don't want them to be like tiny. And then you just, you know, you just break these up like that. Okay. And then I'm going to chop up some garlic. Now this is what we also consider our mise en place, right? I always talk about it in my videos. Mise en place means everything in its place, because, you know, that's one of the things to help some people that have time management issues in the kitchen, is because they didn't prep everything before. They kind of win as they go along. I'm not judging you, Mom. I'm just saying if that's what you do. But, you know, I don't know. But I think it's better to just try to prep as much as you can ahead of time, so that way the cook itself goes a little bit smoother, and timing is usually a little bit better. So mise en place, so that's a big restaurant term for everything in its place to get started, you know, ahead of time.
Val said something. Oh, no comment too.
Yep, I use pots or wooden potting boxes. Oh, for growing at home? Yes, absolutely. I actually did this really cool DIY project when I was younger. I was living in Brooklyn, New York, okay? Now, anybody who's ever been to New York City or knows anything about New York City knows that space is limited, okay? So I actually was very fortunate to have a beautiful apartment in Brooklyn when I first moved back to New York from Texas with a roommate. And we had this cute little balcony, which was even more fortunate to have. And we had full access to the balcony. And I designed this little pot vertical planter where I took a rebar and I put it in the pot, and I put cement. Yes, I mixed my own cement at, you know, when I was single and on my own, when I didn't have a husband to do it for me. And I took this rebar, and then I drilled holes in the bottom of clay pots, and I put it on the rebar like this, and I tilted them. and I painted them, and they were really cute and colorful, and I put all my herbs in there. And that was years ago. Gosh, that was like 10 years ago, guys. I guess I have had a passion for cooking for some time. But yeah, and growing. But now I have a yard, a big enough yard that I don't feel bad taking space away from, you know, my daughter's play area or anything to have a bigger garden. But I still grow herbs on my windowsill. If you see, I still, don't get close up, babe. They're not looking so hot right now. I'm just kidding. No, my parsley and my cilantro are doing well. My basil, not so much, guys. But it's cold. And it's winter, and we don't have as much sun, and so I think my window plants for the winter are going to be needing to be replanted soon, if not anything. Let's see. This spring may try onions and lettuce. Oh yes, onions I've tried, and I can't get them any bigger than this. Honestly, they're like literally this big. I've tried with the onions. Lettuce I love. I grow all different types of lettuce, usually, and oh yeah, I put it on casters so I can move it indoors. That's right, Mom, I did. I put it on caster on rollers so that I could take it inside when it was winter time. So yeah, because it was you know, it gets very snowy and it's on a balcony, you know. All right, so I just chopped up this garlic here. So it's about 5 cloves or so. And then I'm just gonna chop up these chives. I'm actually gonna do a little bit more because we're making quite a bit. This is gonna be for the mash. And I already had rinsed these guys as well, even though again they say pre-washed, but I'm just gonna chop these up into diced chives. Maybe watch your fingers. I always tell you, tuck your fingers in and work your way backwards on your cutting board, right? So you get a nice even chop. And you always want to make sure they're a nice even chop, not only for aesthetics but also for cook. You know, you want to make sure you have an even cook. So, all right. That's that. And I'm taking this little bit of butter that we had from earlier, and we're going to bring all of this, and we're now going to go to the stove.
They're coming up on an hour.
Great. We're making good time. Okay. All right. So first, we're going to check these potatoes. Let's see how they're doing here. They're still a little bit hard, which is okay. And, oh, you guys, I'm not ready. I forgot the cheese for the mac and cheese. I will not start until my mise en place is all set. 101 for me. All right. So then I need another bowl. I need a bigger bowl than that. Oh, here we go.
Val says she should try lettuce.
Should try what?
She says she should try lettuce. Val.
Yes. Okay. All right. All right, we're back. We're back over here. I can't believe I almost forgot one of the biggest parts of the dinner. And like I said, if I would have started, I would have not made it on time. All right, so I have my Gouda. No, not Gouda. Smoked Gruyère. Smoked Gruyère. I'm just going to literally shred everything in here. All the cheese is going to go in. So it's about, what is this, 8 ounces? Yeah, 8 ounces of smoked Gruyère cheese. Now you could really put any kind of cheese you like in mac and cheese. I love adding the sharp, creamy cheeses that have a lot of flavor. I like smoky flavors in there. And, you know, because I just think it adds a level of depth to the dish that you don't need to add a ton of spices to it, you know. I've already flavored the water, or I had flavored the water with the bouillon, and I had, you know, we're gonna put a little bit of seasoning. Okay.
Vanessa says she thinks this is her favorite part with the cheese.
I tell you, you know, I do have a little bit of FOMO because I can't eat this. Not really. Like, I'll taste it. Obviously, I'll have like a little bite just to make sure things taste okay. but I'm like dairy intolerant. It's not just lactose. It's not just casein. I've tried casein free. I've tried the lactose free. It's something about all the dairy, especially, well, I should say really the dairy from the States, because I've tried dairy in Europe. I didn't have a problem. Supposedly they have different guidelines on how things are processed and whatnot. So, you know, maybe that has something to do with it. But I decided when I went to Europe, I was just going to take the punches literally in my gut as they happened, because I wanted to try everything, you know. I wanted to experience it for what it was supposed to be. And I said, I'll just suffer later, it's fine. But I didn't, and I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, because it just, I was not affected. So I try now, and unfortunately really the only place to find it is like Whole Foods, or like a specialty market like that, is to get like the cheeses from other, you know, from other countries.
Vanessa is sorry that cheese gives you problems.
Me too, Vanessa. But I know it tastes good. I've made it before. I know this recipe is delish. So that was about, what was this? I got a bigger one than this was almost, it was 3/4 of a pound. So that was about 12 ounces of cheese, of cheddar, and it's New York sharp cheddar. And then I'm doing 16 ounces of mozzarella, or mozzarella cheese. And this gives it this really nice, beautiful creaminess that you need for mac and cheese. The stretch, you know, like you get with the pull, like a pizza bite, when you pull the pizza slice away from the pie. I always wonder why they call it a pizza pie. I guess because you cut it into like slices, but what came first, the pizza pie or the pumpkin pie? I wonder. Probably the pumpkin pie, I would think. Or maybe it was something that was basic and other types of pies came first. All right. My husband is a cheesehead, LOL. Oh, Packers? Oh, so my sister who's joined, and she's joined the live. Her husband's a huge Packers fan. So you are in good company. All right. Smoky cheese val, I know, it's the best. It is. Thanks, Aunt Maria. I'm also loving it. It's just so satisfying too, you know, to have all of this here. All right, so look at that. All right, so we're just gonna give this a toss so it kind of gets all mixed in together. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because I am going to take a part of this when, I'm not gonna put all of it into the bechamel when I make the cheese sauce, because I'm gonna use some of it to sprinkle on top. So, all right, guys. So now I'm ready to go over there. Just grab a little bit of flour as well. Okay. So we are going to get our mushrooms going in the back burner. A little bit of olive oil back there.
Your sister says she just made mac and cheese from scratch for the first time, and there's no going back.
That's right, sis. That's right. Once you know, like, how amazing it can be, it's just, there is no turning back. It's like, how could you not, you know?
Two people mentioned Kerrygold cheese. I don't know.
Kerrygold. Oh, the Irish cheese. Yes. Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. Is it actually from Ireland? I didn't know if it was or not, because I know it's something that's more commercial, like people use. I put that little bit of 2 tablespoons left of butter here in this pot as well. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of olive oil so that the butter doesn't burn. Because that's a thing, you know, if you're sauteing, you got to be careful your butter doesn't burn. All right. So this is where multitasking comes in its, you know, in its form, in its prime. So we're going to take 1/2 cup of butter, which is the whole stick, all right? The whole stick of butter.
Nicole says our family uses it a lot, apparently.
A lot of what?
I have no idea. She just said that.
Oh, wait, what was the first comment that she made? Let's see. I buy Kerrygold. Irish cheeses and butter. Okay, made mac and cheese. Our fam uses it a lot. Oh, the Kerrygold? Oh, I don't know. I had no idea. All right, so this is going to be our pot for the green beans.
The butter, she says.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. I had no idea. All right. We're going to drop our garlic in this back pan. This is where our mushrooms are going to go. Okay, so garlic goes with the mushrooms. All right. I mean,
yes.
Garlic can literally go with anything. But in this case, it's going with the mushrooms. All right. And the shallots are going with the green beans. Okay. Would help if I turn this burner on, wouldn't it, guys? All right. Also, the almonds are going to go with the green beans. So I'm going to, actually, I'm going to wait for those a little bit because they'll toast up real quick. And we're not, see, this is the problem with pan sizes. I need all the pans, guys. I'm going to start with not all of these mushrooms, but as they cook down, I'm going to add to the pan. Because, you know, if you've ever cooked mushrooms before, you know that they're going to shrink really, really well. Okay. So we just want to sweat these mushrooms, and we're just going to melt all this butter. And then what we're going to add to this butter is our flour. We're going to do half a cup of butter, half a cup of flour, okay? And then we're going to add our milk and cream as well to that. Okay. Now I love, so I'm not by the computer at the moment, so if you are commenting, my husband will help me out in that regard. So I apologize if I'm not as quick to answer, but you do, flour and butter makes what's called a roux. And a roux is something that you use to thicken up sauces, creams, soups, pretty much anything, gumbos, you know, stews. And the longer you let it cook down, the darker your roux is going to get. So for macaroni and cheese, we don't really need it to be, you know, cooked that long. You just wanted to make sure that the butter's all melted, there's no clumps, you know, you're not making dumplings, you know, chicken and dumplings in there, and you don't want it to be super dark. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to, but when I think of dark, like reasons to make a dark roux, it's usually for things like jambalaya and gumbo and like very traditional, like southern New Orleans kind of cooking, you know? All right, so you see how that looks? It's kind of like very like pasty like that. That's exactly what you're looking for when it comes to a nice roux, okay? And then we're going to add 1 cup of heavy cream, okay? And we'll stir that around. Make sure it's all mixed in. Like I said, you don't want lumpy, clumpy pieces of flour in there. You could use a whisk with this as well, but why use dirty another dish, right? As I always say. Okay, so that's nice and thickened up. And then we're gonna do 3 cups of whole milk. So it's technically 4 cups of like a dairy cream, right, in here. Now, you could do all milk, you could do 2 and 2, whatever you got, right? Be flexible with your meals. You know, don't go crazy if you can't find something or something's too expensive. Well, splash. My first splash. I'm sure there'll be many more. All right, and you're just going to kind of cook this in till it thickens up just a little bit, okay? Oh, those shallots are getting nice and toasty. Okay. That's what we want to see. Nice caramelization.
Michelle says, I look forward to your videos every week. This is extra special. Found you through Stephanie. Keep up the great job.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for joining. I love seeing your comments on the feed when you look at the videos. I love interacting with you guys.
And there were a couple other comments if you want to check when you have a chance.
Yeah, I will. All right, so now we're just going to take these green beans and toss them right in. Now be careful because they're wet, and that popping is the water hitting the oil because of the moisture, but it'll even itself out here in a minute. So we're just going to toss them in. This is why I didn't have room for my mushrooms, because I had to use my big pan for the green beans. Okay, now don't worry if you get a little bit of extra water in there, because, you know, it'll evaporate as they cook. Okay. And then, oh, let's say I had another. All right. I just want to kind of stir those around, get those shallots in there. So you see, oh, look at these mushrooms. See how they're already starting to come down? So I'm going to add a few more in there. Now you could also bake these, like you could bake mushrooms. My sister and I actually discovered that keeps them more plump. Like because we used to eat a lot of mushrooms like on holidays and stuff. We discovered that when you bake them, it keeps the mushrooms more plump, and they're not like so shriveled up. You know, they do shrink still, but not nearly as much as they do when you saute them like this. All right, so now we're going to start spicing things up, guys, because we need a little flavor. So we're going to add some garlic powder, because there's no garlic yet in these green beans, and why wouldn't there be, right? Put a little bit more garlic powder in there. I'm going to put about a tablespoon in the mac, okay? Same thing for onion powder. Do a little onion powder in the green beans. A little onion powder in the mushrooms. You want to kind of complement your flavors, right? Everything's going to have a little bit of a different profile, but you know, you want things to kind of mimic one another when you're eating a well-balanced dish, right? You don't want to have one thing that tastes totally off from something else that you're making, right? And then we're going to add just a bit of salt. Now, I like the coarse kosher salt when I'm cooking. I think that it melts really nicely, more than like, I mean, obviously if you use table salt, it'll melt, but I also think that you could over salt things very easily with table salt. Now, I'm not going to put a ton of salt in this because the cheese has some naturally saltiness to it, and your pasta was already flavored, right? So I'm not going to do a ton of salt in the mix. And then one thing I forgot, look at this ingenious thing. Wait, since we're live, look at this cool thing, okay? I designed this kitchen so I could open up this spice rack, and when they designed it, I had to pull it out like this. I was like, oh, this is not very convenient like I thought. Look what my husband did. He put a knob from the store right here so that I could just go in and grab it and pull. Genius built out of necessity. I'm just saying.
Your mom actually has a question about green beans, cutting them or a bigger pan or something. I didn't see it.
Oh, yes. I could have done that. You know, cutting them up. These came already like pre-cut. I have a very distinct memory from childhood, Mom and Nicole, my sister Nicole, I'm sure will remember, of us sitting around the table snapping the ends off of the fresh green beans. I'm sure you guys, obviously my mom will definitely remember. I'm sure my sister will remember that too. But I was thinking, like, when I was buying the green beans, like, oh, I'm gonna have to snap the ends off. And then they already came snapped off, so I was kind of a little sad about it, because that's something that's like a very distinct childhood memory, cooking with my mom, like, about, so. Heart, Mom, I love you. So yeah, so that's, you could definitely cut them. I like the way that they look longer. I think aesthetically, I don't know, to me it just looks a little bit fancier. Just gonna mix this all up. But, you know, ooh, see, I told you it was the first splash of the day. That was the second. But I think it's, you know, you could do it either way. You could cut them up too. And then maybe, you know, people will think it goes a little bit farther, but I don't know. I always like the larger bean. All right, so now we're going to add our cheese into our cheese sauce. I'm just gonna put it right in there, and I'm gonna do a couple handfuls at a time and give it a stir and let it melt. And I'm gonna reserve about a cup to 2 cups for the topping of the dish. Okay, so let that all melt in. Turn that up a little bit because I turned it down because I felt like it was boiling, and you don't want this to boil, right? Like I felt like it was starting to bubble, and you don't want it to bubble. You just want it to heat everything through. All right. And then another couple of handfuls. Okay. And mix that up again. Okay. Now my potatoes have been here cooking, and they're probably definitely done. They're probably definitely, that's the thing. They're definitely done. So that's the good thing about potatoes when you mash them. I mean, they're going to be overdone. You're going to be smashing them anyways, right? So there's that. So that's a little bit. It's getting there. It's got to melt still a little bit more. Turn up the heat a bit. And then one more handful, because I'm going to save the rest of this for the topping. Okay? Actually, I'll take a little bit more because I'm going to add breadcrumbs to this. All right. So this is
When you
now.
have a chance, lots of comments.
Oh yes, let me go check those comments. Take a break here in a second. I'm gonna add some more mushrooms in there before I do that. All right, so this is gonna melt down. I'll give this a little stir. These are looking beautiful. See how they're keeping their really bright color? I'm gonna mix these mushrooms up. See how much they're shrinking, guys? My bowl is almost done, and they've already shrunk so much. Almost lost that guy. Everyone gets in the pool today. All right, probably one more time to shrink down. And then we'll add the last bits in. And then once these are kind of cooked down a little bit more, we'll taste. Okay. Give this a little stir. Yeah, now we're melting. Nice. Okay. See how it's starting to stretch? Yeah, that's what we're looking for. That's getting there. All right. Let's take a look at some of these comments. Okay. So great. Genius husband. I know, right? Oh my gosh, he is. Good job, John. Yep. Then when we get older, yep, Nicole remembers. My mom said crying emoji because she remembers the memory. We got older, we would help her prep dinner. We owe a lot of our cooking from teaching so young. Absolutely. Yep. I know, Val. Multitasking to its T. And thank you, Mel, for loving the cook so far. I hope you really are enjoying it. So far, this is the biggest hurdles here. All right. So we're really, oh man, this is looking so good, guys. This is like, we're in the final stretch now, you know? Once these things are coming together, we're gonna put our potatoes together. That's why I'm saving them for last, because once they're mashed, you know? Just gonna add the rest of these mushrooms in. See, the pot was big enough, it just not at first, you know? Okay. All right.
Val says she's starving now.
I know. Well, that's why it was right around dinner time. I wanted to do this so that way, you know, you could just get right to eating, or like someone mentioned that they ate already, so they wouldn't be hungry eating there. So I'm just gonna add about half a cup or so of almonds. My husband's giving me a look because he's not a big fan of nuts in his food. And I'm also gonna do a whole lemon squeeze, the lemon that we cut up earlier, into the green beans. Really gonna brighten them up. Okay, babe, I know you always say that you don't like the nuts in, but how many times do you actually love, well, what I put in there? Yes, he's shaking his head, yes. He's like, why, babe, why? Because he has this notion that everything is like walnuts and brownies, which he hates, which I know is like a big thing for some people. Love it, and some people like hate nuts in their brownies. Tell me what you love, or tell him what you love, because he's the one who hates the nuts. But I just love it because it gives it really nice extra like crunch and depth of flavor, and it's really, just makes it look really beautiful on the plate. All right, so look at the sauce, guys. It is ready. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we are going to turn off the heat of this, and we are going to add back our macaroni. And whoop, that guy definitely jumped ship.
Val asks whether I pick it out or scoot it to the side.
What do?
I think I scoot it to the side.
When it's a cooked meal, I think you scoot it to the side. If it was in a brownie, you would definitely pick it out.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Vanessa agrees she picks the nuts out of the brownie.
She does?
And is annoyed if she misses one, and yes, I agree.
That's hilarious. See, you have a fellow comrade, nut hater for things. All right.
Nicole says she loves it. We had this conversation recently.
Yeah, we did. All right, so look at that. Oh my gosh. Cheesy goodness. Do you see this? The baking is honestly not a formality, but it's really just to bake the top part of the mac, you know, because we're going to add the cheese on the top.
That was with you. She likes the nuts in the brownie.
Yes. All right, so we're going to spray our pan here just so that it's about a 9 by 13, just so that it doesn't stick that much. And then we're just going to pour everything in. Oh my God, look at that. Unreal. Now, if you weren't hungry before, you are definitely mouth-watering now. Am I right?
Your mom says it looks amazing.
Ah, yeah. All right. All right, so then to this bowl of cheese, I'm going to add about a cup of panko, plain panko breadcrumbs. Okay? So I'm just going to measure with my heart here. So it's about a cup, and mix it in. And my husband would tell you, in difference from the nuts, he would tell you on mac and cheese you can't have too much breadcrumb on top. He loves that. I'm
actually thinking you're a little short here, personally.
Alright, we're just going to sprinkle this all on top. It's going to give us this beautiful golden brown topping. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our ham out of the oven to let it rest, because it's been about an hour and 15 minutes, pretty much on the dot. Right, babe?
Just under 80 minutes.
Yeah, an hour and 15, right? 75 minutes. So, and then we're going to actually put this on broil. So we are going to, oh, let me get this ready over here, so I don't want to burn my counter.
Oh man, I don't know where to put the camera now.
And then, oh, here they are.
Nicole wants to know what's the ETA she's hungry.
Tell her to go ahead and leave now. Oh, I just told her. Leave now.
Yeah, what?
It'll take you 15 minutes to get here. Oh man, look at that. So nice. We're just going to let that rest for a few minutes, because you want all the juices to kind of come back into the ham. You don't ever want to cut that too soon, because it's, you know, if you cut it now, all those juices are just going to run out, and then you're just going to have dry ham. So we're going to put this to broil.
Val told Nicole to hurry.
Hurry! All right. And then we're going to take our mushrooms, give them a little stir here. See how nicely they're just cooking down. Oh, we love mushrooms. And they're so rich in vitamins because of how they grow. Okay. These are looking really good too. I'm going to turn these down on a low heat now. All right.
There's literally only one noodle on the floor. I've stepped on it 4 times.
And I just washed the floors. All right. So we're draining our potatoes. All that steam. Okay. And this is going to be the part where I like, there's some things that I have a little bit of flexibility on, or that I tell you it's okay, make it your own, do it yourself, whatever you want to do. This is going to be one thing that I'm going to tell you. Do not divert from this if you can help it. Do not blend your mashed potatoes. Don't take a mixer to them. Don't take a blender to them. Don't put them in your stand mixer. Listen, if that's all you got, that's fine, and that's okay. But the reason why I make them so soft is that you could either mash them by hand with a fork, or you could use this cute little ricer that I have here. Something like this. Mine's obviously very small. I wish I had a bigger one, but wink, wink, hint, hint, babe, it's Christmas. Just kidding.
As if I haven't bought everything
Just
already?
kidding, it's alright. But because, the reason I say that is because when you mix it, now growing up, that's all we did was use hand mixers to cook mashed potatoes. So, you know, it's just a lack of knowing what to do, essentially. But every chef will tell you not to do that because it will cause your mashed potatoes to be gummy. So instead, try to do a mash like this. It may be especially if it's, you know, a small one like I have here. But usually I'm only cooking for, you know, 3. But especially if it's a smaller one, it's a little bit time consuming, maybe a little bit tedious, but it is worth it. You will still get really creamy mashed potatoes, and you won't have the gumminess that you would have if you did it with a blender. So if you've never done it this way before, and you've always done it with the blender, I 10 out of 10 recommend that you try to do it either by hand or with a masher, and tell me the product that you get isn't going to be better than anything you ever made at home. Now, there's also a lot of times where I will skip this whole step and I will just use instant mashed potatoes, because that's either what we have in the house, or it was the cheapest option at the time, or whatever the case may be. Instant mashed potatoes are exactly that, dehydrated potato flakes.
Val needs to buy this, she says.
Yes, it's awesome. I can go back in and put a comment with a link to one if you want later in the chat.
Your mom asks whether you bought it on Amazon.
Probably. Or it's possible it just was gifted to me. I don't know. I don't actually remember how I got this. I've had it for some time.
Val wants you to put the link in.
Okay, will do. Now it is an arm workout, obviously, as you can see.
Joan says she's going to change the way she does potatoes. What causes the gumminess? Nicole says, use the mixer. I didn't catch it.
Right, we've always used the mixer, so I'm sure, you know, my sister is wondering why I'm even suggesting it, because it's literally always been the case for us. But what causes the gumminess is the overworking of the starch in the potatoes. So it's essentially similar to overworking a bread dough. If you overwork a bread dough, your bread is going to be a lot more dense than if you didn't overwork it. So that's what causes the gumminess, because you're basically mixing the starch too much.
Val says that makes sense. And the message that I missed, I'm reading now. Went to the computer, that's why I'm so far away.
Oh.
I use the mixer because I love it creamier. Nicole says.
Who said that?
Nicole, she said what causes the gumminess, I use the mixer because I love it creamier.
Right. And you'll still get very creamy potatoes doing it this way. I promise you that. But like I said, you see, it is time consuming to do all of this. I mean, obviously I'm making a more inordinate amount. And I have this very small masher. Too bad I can't put the camera down for you to do this part. Because I probably would have employed him otherwise. But
Why don't we switch?
for that, so you could do this?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, and somebody missed a comment.
Oh, yeah.
I missed the comment, I mean.
All right. All right. Come with me this way, guys. I'll take it. That's a good idea. Put the muscle to work over there. I'm just mixing my mushrooms up now. What a good hubby, right? He's honestly a very creative person. He's a director and a writer and a composer. And so his creativity inspires me, actually, to be creative. He's one of the reasons why I decided that I could write a book. Just checking on the macaroni and cheese, and that is done. He's one of the reasons why I did this channel, because I knew that I could with him. Oh, I need you to switch again because I got to take this out of the oven. And he's obviously very helpful when I need things. See, it's hard.
What am I doing now?
Nothing. I just need you to hold it because I got to get this out of the oven.
Alright.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Now, this is something I don't get to do very often in my channel because the videos you don't hear, but listen.
Oh, you have to lean forward because the mic's on you.
That's what you're looking for on top of that. That's that crumb and that cheese and everything. Oh, so good. All right. All right. We're taking me back. So we're going to start putting everything together, guys, and plating it up so I can show you how nice everything is going to look. When he's done with the mash, we'll finish the mash. So first, we're going to do the mushrooms. They are looking really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And I'm going to show you here. Here we go. So we're just going to take them and put them in our bowl. Okay. I am so grateful to every one of you who has joined me for this live so far. If you are new to my channel, I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen and will subscribe for more videos that maybe more lives in the future. This is our first one. If you guys liked it, I had a really great time. Thank you, Vanessa. I'm so glad it was fun. You know, that's the thing about lives versus videos. It's like you get more engagement and you get to really talk to the people that I always see leaving comments on my stuff, which I appreciate.
I'm not Mike to ask whether this is a good time for everyone normally.
Oh, yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's right, Mel. Yeah, does this time of day work for you guys? Like as far as like a Saturday evening around 6 p.m.? Oh, thanks, Val. She said I'm a natural. Like, does this timing work for you as far as, you know, being on a live, like to just hang out with me and watch this cook? Because if Stephanie does Sundays, I definitely will do more Saturdays. As long as my sister will eat the food that we make and watch our daughter. Works for Vanessa. Sweet. All I need is one. All right, Mel, you too. Great. Aw, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Val. Thanks so much for joining. I'm so glad you were inspired. I hope that this helps. Thank you, Anne Maria. I try to keep it casual as much as I can, you know. Too blessed to be stressed is how I like to look at it. Although, you know, we can still get stressed out, right?
I hope Nicole didn't leave yet. You told her to leave.
Yeah. It's okay if she walks in. I don't care. It's casual, like we said. Thanks. All right, Diane. Glad. Thanks your husband, too, they said. Thanks, Barb, for joining. Thanks so much. All right. Just getting these little bits out. But look how nice. Look how pretty that looks on a platter, guys. Just like that. Beautiful. All right. So we've got mushrooms. We've got the mac and cheese. We've got our green beans. We've got our ham. And we're about to finish the mashed potatoes. And everything will be on the table. Whoop, let me make sure my burners are all off. At the same time as we hoped. Okay. Guys, this thing weighs a ton, this mac and cheese. Oh my gosh. But look at that. Unbelievably. Unbelievable. And then we are also going to make our ham look pretty.
I your butter.
Oh, that's okay. That butter's going in there. So it's perfect. All right. So I'm going to see. Can I stand this up like that? Can you see me? Oh, you can. Great. All right. So we're going to, that's still hot. Take off the top of this ham here. Okay. And we are going to try to get this thing out without hurting ourselves here. All right. I guess I need a fork. Oh my gosh, guys, the smell is unbelievable. The smell from this ham lid just coming off here. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, look at that. Oh, so nice. All right, last step. All right, hubby's done. He's got my awesome rice. So see how small that is? So you're not gonna need to do so much to this. So we're gonna start, I always start with less and then add as I need to. Take a spoon here and we're gonna, well, we'll start with less milk, I should say. I'm putting all this butter in here, guys. This is half a cup, all right? Half a cup of butter goes right in. And as you put this together, it's going to start creaming together. Like it's not gonna be riced, right? It's gonna come together as it should. All right. And then half a cup of milk.
Oh. You have a shot of that ham?
Yeah.
While I was doing the potatoes?
I did. Okay. So you could always add more, right? You don't want to add less. I mean, you want to start with less, but if you put too much and then you have soupy mash and like, ew, right? Nobody wants that. Okay. So this is just to start helping it get combined and get the butter melted. All right. Then we're going to add some salt. I'm going to add probably about a tablespoon or so, maybe half a tablespoon. We're going to do some black pepper. A little heavy on the black pepper. And then we're going to do another half a cup of milk. Now, because it's potatoes and because it's, you know, milk and butter and stuff, you've got to season. So it seems like a lot of salt or a lot of pepper maybe, but trust me, it's not. because it will get absorbed by everything. All right. So you see how creamy those are getting? Now we also like a little bit of a stiffer mash, me and my husband, anyways, but these are gonna be nice.
Your mom wants to order one of your aprons.
Yes, oh my goodness. I do hopefully plan on opening up a shop soon for like aprons. I've started making some spice blends that I'm gonna be putting together, like
Hopefully your cookbook.
in my cookbook eventually, right? Oh, let's not forget our chives, guys. Toss them in. I'm actually going to put just probably another 1/4 cup of milk in. And these will be nice and ready. That was it. That was it, guys. Perfect.
You should do a shout out to your sister for making the apron.
Yes, oh yes. My apron was actually designed by my sister. I had just plain black aprons before, and she was like, oh, I could probably, because she has like the Cricut or whatnot. So she was like, I could definitely, you know, design it. So she pulled our font from our logo and made the apron. Tasting for salt. Needs a little bit more.
It's not perfect.
It's not perfect. My husband always laughs because there's certain things I say, I guess more often. I'm sure you guys might have picked up on some of it. Like, oh, it's perfect, you know, when I taste something, or oh, it's everybody in the pool, I say a lot. Stuff like that. Why dirty another dish, you know?
Oh,
These are things I say all the time. But, all right. So look at that, guys. Oh my gosh, nice creamy mash. All set. Just a little bit. Now it's perfect. All right. So here you go to have a full Christmas feast for 8 people for less than $100, including dessert.
Oh, Nicole just commented, so she didn't.
She hasn't left? Or maybe she's on her phone.
True.
Yeah. I hope you guys had a great time with me. I had so much fun interacting with you all. Thank you so much for joining. If you don't mind, like, share, and subscribe for the channel. We have 2 shorts every week and a long video on Sundays. I hope you guys like the rest of what you see.
No longer video tomorrow, obviously.
Oh yeah, no longer video tomorrow because we're doing the live. So next week we'll resume our Sunday videos. But yeah, this is the taking place of this weekend's video. So I hope you guys have an incredible holiday season. Really happy holidays to all of your families. I wish you a wonderful holiday and a happy new year. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.